Jake Cohen, New York Times bestselling cookbook author, star of Jake Makes It Easy, and my dear friend, welcome to the pod.
Hi.
I'm so happy to have you.
Long time coming.
How do people get into Berghain?
Oh my God, that's where we're starting.
Well, we weren't going to, but that is actually a thing that I think is very important to discuss. Guys, if you don't know what Berghain is, it's the most exclusive, what did you say, exclusive? Most hard to get into club in the world.
But the thing is, what I would say, it's the capital of techno music in the world. So that's really the focus.
It's in Berlin.
If you're going just because it's like an exclusive place, you're already like gonna have a bad time.
And so is it open 24 hours a day?
No, for the weekend, yes. So
Okay.
it's like from like Friday through, depending. There are different areas. There's Lab, which is like the men only dungeon, which like, so that typically be like Friday, and then there's Berghain, which is the main, and there's Panorama Bar, which is on top.
And it's all one building.
All one building.
And it's quite formidable looking. Like it's a quite,
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like, and the bouncers have all the power, right?
Yeah.
And so I like got on Berghain TikTok a while ago, and I'm just so fascinated. I love when there's kind of like this deep lore, like with Berghain, you know, like, and I love things that are hard to get into. That's so fun. I don't think that I would get in because they would be able to smell my insecurity.
It's literally, I mean, this is what I was going to say. It's like the how to get in. Everyone's like, oh, you got to wear this, you got to do that. No, you have to know who you are.
You have to know who you are.
You have to know who you are because it's like your body language is such a key, like, depiction of if you're like just going there to go versus like you're going to add to the energy of the club.
How many times have you been?
Twice.
Okay, and you got in both times?
Yes.
And you never been rejected?
No, but again, two out of two is like it's a numbers game. So I'm sure there will be a time I'll get it.
Wow.
I'll be off my game one day. But
have any of your friends been rejected?
Yeah, of course.
It's because it is very strict.
The first time I went alone. It was kind of this really like stepping outside of my comfort zone,
Yes.
really doing things. I never traveled alone for vacation. And I had this family reunion in Cologne the following weekend. And I ran into some friends and they were like, you have to go because it was this like party called Snacks, which is like one of the 2 weekends a year. That's like a gay only party.
Okay.
For at least Saturday.
Okay.
And I go and I end up like running into a couple of people I know from New York. So I cut in line with them and we get to the front. There were 5 of us and I was the only one that got in.
Stop.
They all had to change. Then they got back in line. I saw them in. They got in like 2 hours later.
Stop. What were they wearing? And what were you wearing?
Well, this Snacks this one's a theme, so it's like sportswear.
Okay.
Theme. So I was just wearing a jockstrap and these like mesh boxing shorts.
Amazing. And what were they wearing that you think made them not get in?
They were being like sticklers about shorts. You never know.
You never know. Wow. Okay. You know, I love gay people for so many reasons, but their commitment to a themed party, like
God.
like excellent.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed.
Yeah.
Okay, so you would say it's gay friendly, Berghain.
Yes, but it's like, for example, when I went that weekend, then I went back. So I was there from like midnight to 10 a.m. Friday into Saturday morning, and then I went back. This was Saturday night, and then I went back. So Sunday morning, I left, slept for a few hours, came back at like 7 p.m. Sunday night, and was there for like 12 hours. Wow. And that was back when it was mixed. So it was like Berghain. So it's like straight people, women, queer. It's one of the things I love about nightlife is you really get to kind of choose your own adventure. Here in New York, I go a lot to like this techno club basement underneath the Knockdown Center in Queens. And then there are like some nights and some parties that are really, really just gay. Some nights that are just completely straight. And then there's some parties where it's like right in the middle. And those are typically like the nights I have the most fun.
Really?
Yeah.
The nights where there are straight people,
I would say it's mainly like women.
I don't
like
have fun partying with straight people at all. I'm like, everyone is way too focused on themselves, and it's less about like, I mean, I'm generalizing here, but I do find that's a huge problem with like straight clubs is like there's a lot of like just thinking about yourself going on.
I think they temper the sex, where I think when it's just gay, it can often end up just being a little too animalistic.
Okay.
And
fair.
so I think when I have like there's this one party that I love at Basement, and my girlfriend ended up going to separately, and I ran into her, and she like tempered me, in which I wasn't completely feral because I also just wanted to have fun with her.
I love that though. Okay, what's your favorite part about gay nightlife culture?
Ooh, okay. This is my favorite answer. And I think too often when we think of New York and even a lot of like online TikTok representation of nightlife or just culture in New York, it's very much a scene and it's very much about who you are, what your background is, what your job is, your affluence, your all of these things that to me are really just like stupid. And the thing I love is like when you go into the club, like your real life does not matter. It's about the energy that you're bringing in that moment. So it'll be a doctor next to a lawyer, next to a fashion designer, next to some random creative, next to someone who hasn't had a job in 8 years. And they're all the same. You don't know. You're just based your like opinion on meeting people based on like what they're bringing to the floor.
I agree. Oh God, that just filled my heart with joy. I absolutely love that. Okay, talk about your love of clubbing. Like, is it a relatively new thing?
Completely.
So talk about like how you came to it and like what does someone need to know if they want to get more into clubbing? What do you like? What do you not like? Like, tell us your journey.
So I went through a breakup last summer, and it was one of those things where it just kind of became this progression. I went on this like 2-week bender to Fire Island and Provincetown with some friends, with 2 different groups of friends, and then immediately went and did the Hoffman Process. So I got like
which is like you in a nutshell. Like 100%. I think that is you is like a rager in Fire Island into Hoffman Process.
Completely.
Like that is you.
I literally,
amazing.
I mean, again, I'm not ashamed. I don't have any shame, but literally it was like the perfect. And I got all my blood tests for like, I had an STD. So I was like on my antibiotics while I was at Hoffman. I was like all of it. And so I left Hoffman not only like cleared up of any STDs, cleared up of my mind. My energy was in just like peak form.
It's an amazing place.
It was an amazing place. And of course I went, it's like, I always have to tell my mother not to listen to like anytime I do anything. I literally went from Hoffman. You then take 2 days to yourself.
I didn't know that.
You go off. And then I went straight to an orgy, like a 200-person orgy. And it was,
hell yeah.
And that's a perfect example of, we were talking before about why I love it. It's because that you both don't have the outside world, but also like the drag of how we dress.
Right.
So because everyone is like in a towel.
Right.
And so it's, or naked. And it's just truly like as simple as it can be in terms of meeting someone in their like rawest form.
Their natural form.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
But I was in like peak energy. So it's just, it was wild.
Yeah. You have really inspired me. I really want to do Hoffman.
I thought you were going to say a 200-person orgy.
Well, I do want to go to an orgy too, but I do want to go to I want to go to like a sex club. I want to do something. I need to figure out what I should go to, but you've definitely inspired me to do Hoffman. And per your point, I was thinking that I should get my eyes done and then go right to Hoffman so I could be healing.
Like blephs?
Yeah, my bleph, and then do it right.
Yours are great.
No, I need it. So I was thinking double whammy next year. I could do it and then I could heal and I could come out.
No, you can't. It's a little too physical. We'll talk.
Okay, we'll talk. I know you can't.
But
say
I know
too
what you're
much,
saying. I know what you're saying.
But I just thought like I really don't have that much time. And I know this sounds bratty, but like whenever I've thought about getting plastic surgery, I'm not judgy about it at all. I literally don't have the time.
I get it.
I can't find 2 weeks in my year.
I've been seeing this because they're like these. I follow a ton of like gay porn stars on Instagram, and they're all getting like CO2 laser, and then they've just been documenting their faces, and it's like
you look crazy for like
Tamra Judge. Yeah, like it's wild.
You look nuts. I just don't have the time. So I really want to do Hoffman, but I just don't. I mean, 3 weeks is completely beyond. But if I'm like hitting things, then if I'm trying to run or let go of my demons, then maybe my stitches will pop out. Imagine that. That is really funny to imagine me trying to exercise my demons. My face is bleeding. But anyway, we'll talk about it. Okay, so wait, also I want to circle back to something that's very cool and open that you said, I had an STD and I was clearing it up with that is something that we really need to work on in the straight community is like just destigmatizing it and like just getting on with it. Like
and getting tested.
I know. And it's something I really try to talk about on my show. I don't think that straight people are good about getting tested at all. I always tell the girls who listen, I always ask guys before I sleep with them, I'm like, when's the last time you get tested? And that is very, very hard for a majority of straight women to ask, which is wrong. And it's like, we can really learn from the gay community, from the queer community, like just ask, like, it's not that deep. Like, it's really not. what is deep is when people lie about it or when people don't get tested. And some of my friends are like, oh yeah, I haven't got tested in years. I'm like, whoa, like what the fuck?
Crazy.
That's irresponsible.
Completely.
And I know it's complicated with insurance and whatever, because I was actually just speaking to my friend about it, and he was saying like, oh well, you know it's like $350 to go get tested at urgent care, and like we need more easy testing. You need to figure out with your insurance what the cheapest way to do it is, but like get tested, talk about it. It's not that deep.
Yeah,
and I'm impressed 100%. That you think that.
Well, it's an interesting. It's a very different dynamic because the majority of our community is on PrEP, which is incredible.
So incredible.
Medication to help prevent like transmission of HIV. Yeah. And as a result of that, we have to be getting blood tested every 3 months for STD panels, as well as like our liver, make sure it's not affecting that. And so because of that, we do have this like quarterly regimen to really keep everything in line.
It's great. I wish that would be more.
And also doxypep. So it's like if you're, which is the other thing where it's like you get a prescription of doxycycline, and there's like you take 200 milligrams after a potential risky exposure.
Yeah.
And it helps decrease your chances of other STDs.
Right. No, I love that. I love that.
But I'm not a doctor, so I'm just saying this is just like common things.
No, but it's inspiring, and I think it's so cool. I wanted to ask you if people were going to a party, whether it's like a rave or a normal party, like you now more than ever have incredible openness and energy when you walk into a room. Like, what would you say a tip is if someone was going to go to a rave alone or going to go to a party alone? Like, you're a very confident person, but like, what is your mindset when you go into a space?
It's funny. I actually do a lot of woo-woo ritual before I go to a rave. So I typically like journal and do a meditation just to really like set an intention that it's not that deep. And I have this like one mantra, which is just like, and again, it's very common, but it's like, I don't chase, I attract. Yeah. So when you go to these places, I think oftentimes like you see someone like, oh my God, that guy's so hot, and you just want to chase them, versus it's like, no. If they're mine tonight, whether that's for 5 minutes, an hour, or the evening, they're coming to me. There's nothing I can do that's going to stop that. It actually just happened to me. I had this like crazy experience. It was a house party, and I'll tell you more about it afterwards, but it was just like the TLDR is I felt the vibe.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Yeah.
And then I just detached.
Yeah.
Where I was like, we had this incredible conversation, and then he went off, and I knew how the night was going to end.
Right. I love that. No, it's such an important thing that you talk about, and you really live it. Like, I've seen it and you really live it. And I think it is so important. Like, I really believe what's meant for you doesn't miss you, and what misses you isn't meant for you.
Period.
And you just have to like live in that space of knowing that what's yours is coming to you. And it makes you so much more magnetic. It's
Truly.
crazy. Like, it's like you really just have to have faith and think, no, I've got it going on, and whatever's supposed to be will be. And then you can be more present too, because I think something we all struggle with is like future tripping and thinking like, oh my God, is this person going to talk to me? Or are they not? Like, and we waste so many beautiful moments. And it's like, if you have that faith that everything that's yours is coming to you, you can be present. And that is such a gift that you can give yourself.
Completely.
Let's do a little dating talk.
Perfect.
Are you okay dating a bad cook?
Yes, I prefer that.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I would really prefer, like, honestly, I want them to like kind of be just completely inept.
They're like, is that garlic? And you're like, no, it's an onion, babe. Like,
yeah. As long as they're not like a picky eater. Like, if
we could never date a picky eater. No.
Or it happened once. There's this one guy that I was like, again, I would say hooking up loosely, because I would just like see him at like raves and stuff, and we'd hook up. Mm-hmm. And he's like, yeah, we can't date. I'm gluten free. And he's like, and I see your page.
He
like,
said that?
He's like, you're gonna hate me.
Wait, I love that.
I mean, he wasn't wrong. There are a few other reasons why, but like, yeah, he wasn't wrong.
I love that. Oh my God, that's really funny. I just saw that some guy put that on a dating app. I was looking, and he was like, if you're gluten free, you're not for me. And I was like, honestly, I like that. Like, be honest.
However, it's like you have these rules.
I know.
And they'll always like, I have so many like know this thing, no lawyers. Then all of a sudden you meet the lawyer, and you're like, okay, this is a vibe.
Yeah.
And so like there's a flexibility with everything.
Yeah.
Because you just know. I think people just don't realize that so many of these like woo-woo things are just to get in touch with your own intuition.
Totally.
And then there are like different things that attach to it. Like the new thing that I've been telling everyone. I tell this to all my friends. I tell this to gay men, girlfriends, even like people who are like trying to court me, where I just make it very clear, it's like the most unattractive quality in a man is not being obsessed with me.
Oh my God. Like yes, 1,000 times, like cosign, like shout it from the rooftops. Like,
it.
wow. Like, no, say more, because my community needs to hear that.
You need to really know that. Like, it does not matter how hot he is, how great he is. If he's not obsessed with you, what is the point?
What's the point? Wow. I could not agree more.
This happened to me. I had this there's this one guy that I dated briefly a while ago, and dating it, like we had this like little love affair. The meet cute was out of control. It was like the craziest thing. And then we had this crazy experience. And I think I make the mistake. I say this all the time. I really love psychedelics, but I've kind of moved away from doing them in the concept of nightlife and raves.
Okay.
And just keeping it into like with close friends in nature.
Yeah.
Because I do think that it really heightens my sensitivity to people's energies.
Yes.
And I really can know. So it's like,
so if you're in a party, then it's like kind of a lot. You're like, you have bad energy, you have great energy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Where I'll be like, it'll be a really hot guy, and all of a sudden I'll be like, oh, I need to get away from you.
Right.
And then likewise, there'll be someone that I really like, and I'll start to really kind of get that deeper subconscious telling me like, this isn't it. And
so tell the story of the guy. You were like, oh, I had this crazy meet cute, and then
we had so much fun, and we're there, and I think it really heightened me of like really realizing. I think you sometimes need that to kind of lift the veil of like, oh, he's not as into me as I think he needs to be.
Wow. And
then that was just confirmed by a level of communication that is not acceptable for me to be considered.
You guys, and that is like, I literally cannot. I agree. I'm losing so much. I'm losing my words. Like, that is the attitude to have, you guys. When someone isn't obsessed with you, it's not why. It's, oh, they're no longer viable.
Mine.
Okay. They're not mine. And you see how Jake said the level of communication that wasn't acceptable for me, that's the shift. Like, that's how you need to be thinking versus, oh my God, like, what do you think it means that they're a bad texter? It's not a level of communication that's acceptable for you. And that is so, like, I think that's why I'm so, like, I feel so free now in my dating life. Like, I'm not pressed. Like, it's kind of like it's all written. I'm just like, I'm just here for the ride. I no longer stress out. I'm no longer screenshotting to my friends saying, oh my God. If he's not obsessed with me, he's not for me. And if it's not an acceptable level of communication, it's not a fit. It's okay.
And again, for that guy, a few weeks later, he made the effort. We went on a date. It was cute. We smashed. It was great.
Yeah.
But at one point, I'm also very candid. I think you have to be candid with people where I pretty much says like, well, I'm not going to chase you. It's like, I track. I literally say these things. I say these woo-woo things because like, that's also like kind of how I am. So if you can't get on, get on board with like the witchy side of me, then I'm like, all right. If you can't have me at my witch, you don't get me at my club rat. And really, he was like, well, I do think you gotta chase a little. And I was like, well, let me make it clear. I am not good at subtlety. Like, I make my interests insanely known. And then from there, it's off to the universe.
That's hot. That's very hot. How do you meet most of the guys that you date? Do you meet them out, or do you ever go on? Are you on Grindr? Do you go on the apps at all?
I ebb and flow. I delete Grindr a lot. I'll go on for a little bit, and then you start to like really hate it because again, you don't have that in-person reaction. So it's like you don't know if you're going to actually vibe with someone. So you're spending so much emotional and physical energy on these people, and only a fraction of them are actually really good hookups.
Do you think it's hard to read energy over Grindr?
Completely.
Yeah, because how could you know?
It has to be in person.
It has to be in person.
But the other issue is, and I think this is like this epidemic in the gay community, is like open relationships.
Right.
And so I would say the majority of the people that are on this are in open relationships that are really just looking for physical vignettes with other people. And I do oftentimes feel that the single guys are treated as we're treated with less respect.
Totally.
We're not given the time, the communication. It happened once. There's this guy we met at the gym. Great rapport. We've been wanting to like hang out. And he's like, we're trying to like match schedules. And he's like, all right, well, I can't do tonight. I can't do this night, but I can do that night. I was like, oh, that night I have a work dinner.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, so it's not just me because I was like, oh, it's on you.
Right.
And he's like, no, it's on us. I was like, no. Let's get this clear. I can't meet up because I have a work dinner this night. You can't meet up these other nights because you're going home to your husband. We are not the same. This is not the same.
Yeah.
And I made it clear. It's like, I'm still very interested in meeting up with you.
Right.
But don't get it twisted.
Right. Just because it's an open relationship, it doesn't mean you deserve less respect or that your time doesn't matter.
Exactly.
It should be the same it's the same set of values. And it should be the same as any dating situation or hookup situation. You respect the person. Yeah.
I had some incredible experiences with incredible men. Literally, oh my God, there was this one, and it was the first one where I had a connection with the guy, and I was like, damn, I wish
you were like, single. I wish you were single.
I wish you were single.
Do you think that he felt like I wish
100%.
Wow.
But at the same time, if he wanted to, he would.
Right.
And it's probably, to me, it's like when I think about it, it's like, oh, it's not meant for now.
Not for now, but it could come back around.
It could come back.
Yeah. I think that the gay community has been onto something with open relationships for a while. Do you think that straight people are following suit and it will be more and more prevalent?
Too much. I think this whole like polycule thing. So to me, what I think that the main issue that's happening right now is I think there's like this huge spectrum of polyamory, and I think we're really going to space. I think we need to bring it down to like
gay people or straight people?
Both. The clouds.
Wow.
Like,
okay.
I think this
Interesting.
World, I think there needs to be, I think openness needs to have like really intense guardrails.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the beauty of it is shared experience and the ability to work on trust, communication, and it can very quickly become just a way to avoid issues, core elements of your own relationship because you're so just focused on novelty.
So well said. I want to unpack that a little. That's amazing.
I just know, and again, when I say this, it's actually not, when I'm thinking in my head, like I'm actually not thinking about most of the gay friends I know in this. I'm thinking about a lot of these straight people and polycules or things like that, where they're really playing around with like, to me, it's the emotional supplementing with other partners versus having complementary sexual experiences to expand fun and experience.
I think that it is, in a way, that's so well said, more difficult for straight people, because I think straight people are less inclined to have like unique sexual experience. Well, I think women, I'm thinking about women, maybe like, I think it's harder for them to have unique sexual experiences that are truly just like standalone versus, I see what you're saying.
We're also different. Like men and women are like, men are from Mars, women are from Venus.
And I believe that.
We are animals. We are animals. And when I tell you, I get, sometimes we even get animal diseases. We're so disgusting.
Yeah, no.
We literally, it's just, I don't even know how to describe it. It's so, I think I have put myself in all these situations where you really get to experience the whole spectrum of where we come from, as animalistic as we can be.
I wonder if I could do an open relationship. I don't know if I can do open, but I could do something different. And
it's unfortunately, there's nothing you can do until you're in the situation.
Exactly.
And you cross that bridge when you get to it.
No, totally. Yeah. I think people ask that a lot on the show. Like, what do I think of polyamory? I think that there's like, I think that there's a lot of ways to do it. I think that it's not one size fits all. I do think that there are a small group of straight men who are taking advantage of the polyamory boom and just going out and fucking a million people while their straight female partners are at home being like, oh, like, is this it? Like, okay, I guess. But I think there's a lot of ways to do it. And I think people should experiment and figure it out. I really liked what you said about how it can be an opportunity for communication and trust. If done well, it can really take that to the next level. The problem is doing that hard part.
And there have been people that I've met, like I'm thinking about like some of the recent experiences I've had of guys that I've had. I'm just thinking this one Berlin boy, and we hit it off and had this incredible day. And the next thing you know, it's like we went to this party with this other lover that I met at Berghain the last time I was there. And we had this like insane threesome.
Yeah.
And it was an incredible shared experience.
Right.
And there was no, it just, there was nothing, there was no strings attached.
I love that.
In that way. Versus I know so many people, and this is an issue I have, even in my friend group, of some people that like begin to use sex as sex for numbing. I feel the same way about like party culture, drug culture, all this stuff. You're either doing this to expand consciousness and kind of dive deeper into having fun with the human experience, or you're escaping something.
Wow.
And so it's like a lot of gay men, a lot of men in general, use sex as this like way to scratch an itch for validation.
Wow.
And it then becomes increasingly constant.
Right.
Versus, why am I doing this? What is wrong in my life? What needs to be addressed in my life that I've been ignoring?
Wow.
And using this as a Band-Aid.
Wow. 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 So well said. That's so interesting. Yeah, it's so true that sex can be this expansive, incredible experience, or it can be like a validation itch.
Completely.
And yeah, I mean, sometimes I want to have sex for validation. Like, I'll admit that. There's definitely times where I'm like, I want that validation. It's very real. It's the same as being like, I want to have a glass of wine on a Friday night, or like, I want to like overeat this food. Like, we're human, it's good to be aware of these, instincts that we have, and these impulses rather. But yeah, that's so
guardrails.
Interesting.
You just have guardrails for everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I give myself permission once, like, I used to be a huge pothead.
Yeah.
And I don't anymore, because I know, like, I just want to get really high and eat 3,000 calories in one sitting and watch cartoons.
Right.
And once in a while, I let myself do that because
Totally.
I want to, and it's fun. And then we buckle it back up, and it's like, that just can't be the frequency that I used to do, because it wasn't serving me in that way.
You're so self-aware, and you're so good at making little tweaks to your life to make yourself happier. And I think that that's such an attractive quality in someone, when they can constantly make little tweaks and say, oh, I'm going to do this better. Oh, I learned this. I'm going to do it better. It's really admirable. Do you see a difference in the dating culture, dating hookup culture, whatever, in the States and in Berlin or anywhere else that you've spent time?
Yes. So Berlin itself is like, it's wild. It's just like party culture. The all of it is so much more intense.
Yeah.
Wait, we should go to Berghain together.
I'll love to. I'll get out my leather chaps. I'll wear whatever.
No. I mean, you were going to check it when you got there. Yeah.
I know that my instinct is to dress like Britney Spears in the Stronger music video.
100%. Not now.
I hope that would work. Oh gosh.
It's whatever's true to you.
Right.
Whatever is true to you.
Okay.
And yes, I think some people can be more intense. I think in America, I think the big difference is actually New York and LA. I find in LA, the gay culture I just don't really vibe that much with LA gays. It's very much rooted in the entertainment industry. It's about who you know. People are really seen, I think, treated more as commodities than as people. So it's not based on your energy or who you really are authentically. It's who you are performing as.
Right.
And funny enough, that happened to me again. I went to the Sweat tour in I went to Sweat in New York and Sweat in LA, and I went to the Sweat tour with you know who, and we went and I was at the after party, and I ran into a ton of like gay friends I knew from New York or from LA. They kept introducing me to people, and I'd done a couple of shroom gummies, and I just like literally, I turned to my friend, I go, "Is it me? Like what's going on?" Like it really shook me to feel like I was in a room surrounded by the majority of the people were not actually being true to themselves.
Totally.
And in New York, I think that's more the case, where you have I have very few friends who are true chameleons. And that's what I'm looking for in a partner too, is a chameleon.
Oh, that's interesting.
Like,
say more about that.
I want someone that at one moment can be at Shabbat like you were at a few weeks ago, and it's wholesome, and we are just like, we're going to bed at 10,
right,
and we're doing the dishes at the end of the night, and then the next night we are at a rave until that following night we went out. We were at basement until 6:30 in the morning, and then I went to meet my other friend at this other party, and we were there till 9:30, and then we went to this bakery. Like, we went straight to my favorite bakery and like sat there with sunglasses on eating croissants and pastries.
That's the dream with a partner. Like that, like to do all that in a weekend with a guy is the dream.
The next night, I took him to the orgy.
Yeah, that's what I want.
And then the next night we went and we just had a cute little dinner, and I made homemade pasta. It really like someone who can really thrive in all of these spaces, and we get to define what the percentages of where we go into what. I do think right now that I'm single, I'm leaning more into nightlife culture.
Sure.
I think once I become partner, that will go down. Are
you actively like calling in love right now? Are you ready for it, or are you not?
It's interesting. We were talking about this the other week about is my light on? Like taxi. I'm very much, that's my favorite thing to talk to people about. And I don't know that it is.
Oh, interesting. I feel like that means that it's not then.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
But that's a perfect example. I don't know as an answer.
Right, exactly.
I don't know if it's, what is it? If it's not hell yes,
it's a hell no.
It's a hell no. I think I'm waiting for someone to switch my light on.
Totally.
And what I mean by that is I know the energy that I'm looking for, and until that comes, I'm not looking to settle. So I've done long-term partnership. I had the most incredible relationship, and now I know what I'm looking for a next partner. And when that comes, I'll know. And until then,
you're going to have fun.
We just got to vibe.
Yeah.
We just got to vibe. Which is weird because I seem so confident now. And yet, like, whenever I meet someone and I feel the energy, they knock me off my, like, they knock me off my flow in a way where it's just like, damn, what is this guy doing?
Yeah. Wow. Ooh, that just gave me chills. I can tell your next love is going to be like, it's going to be big. It's going to be really meeting someone on your energetic level. And you've done all this work on yourself, and it's going to be wild.
But that's the thing that I think everyone needs to really remember, that you do the work for yourself.
Totally.
And the downside of it is that the pool gets smaller.
There's no one for me to date.
It's so hard because all you want, you're so now ready for that person.
Right.
But the number of people who can match that, who are self-aware, who are doing the work, who want to do that work with you.
That's so validating to hear from me, and I'm sure everybody listening. And it's so true, because it's like when I think of the person who you're going to be with next, like I'm like, they have to be next level. Like they have to be almost like a fictional character, that they're
Completely.
so dynamic, and that they're so energetic, and that they're so, multifaceted, and that's a good and a bad thing. So yeah. Interesting. Can I ask, what is your normal day like? I feel like you get so much done in a day. Are any 2 days the same? Like how much is recipe development? How much is content? Like what takes up the most time? What do you like the most?
Interesting. That's a great question. It changes every day. It depends on what
stage you're in. Yes.
So for example, like a few weeks ago, I was shooting the next season of my cooking show. And that was literally nonstop. I got up, went to the studio. We were shooting 3 episodes a day.
Oh, that's a lot of work.
That's it. And I have no time or energy for working out, for anything else. That stops. And now I'm like, then I went straight to book edits, because my next book comes out in September.
Yes.
Dinner Party Animal.
Yes.
Because obviously I love dinner parties and I'm a party animal. And so I've been in edits for that. So it's like that requires sitting at a computer, versus now as I'm finishing up these projects and getting them off to just like the printer and the edit room, I got to get back to like making content.
Right.
And kind of getting back into like the relevance of like everyday social, which I ebb and flow in, because I take lots of breaks.
Do you like everyday social? Do you like making content?
I go back and forth. I think, yes, I think I am so proud of what I do, and the fact that I'm able to kind of reach people really immediately and give them a recipe that they're then going to make and implement so quickly into their daily lives. I think social media itself creates this form of instant gratification and a system that kind of makes people's worth rooted in validation from strangers, versus the only thing that matters to me is what I think of myself and the way that I interact with my core group.
Right.
And is it amazing to have all of that? Yeah, of course it is.
Right.
Because that's who we are. But you have to do a lot of work to do it. A friend of mine who's in theater always told me from like the second he knew, he's known me since before anything popped off. And he always told me, like, the thing he always tells people is like, you can't internalize the good reviews, because if you internalize the good reviews, you'll internalize the bad ones.
Yep. If you live by the claps, you die by the booze.
Wow. Yes.
Which is something I heard recently, which I really like. But it's hard. It's really hard to do that every day. I mean, it's really hard because, you know, it's so instant gratification. You put up a video, if it does well, of course you feel good.
Of course.
But it's like you honestly have to train yourself and say, you need to have the same reaction if a video does well or badly. You just sort of go, okay. If I did my good content, like if you feel like you made the best content that you put out, like you got to just detach.
And if it like impacts
right.
a few people, then your work is done.
Right.
Because that is the purpose.
Right.
The mission is the work itself. It's not the response.
Right. 100%.
And it's a hard thing, and you got to remember. And it's like, and it ebbs and flows.
Yeah.
It ebbs and flows, and
you gotta just
like ride the waves.
Do you edit your own content?
I do.
Wow, good for you. That's incredible.
I mean, it's why I hate it so much.
Right,
Because then I was outsourcing. I had this great guy, but it's like, ugh, I'm paying this money for this.
Right, and like you could do it, and it's just but it's time consuming, people, and especially with food editing, like that is arduous to edit that. I know I asked you this before, but just on camera, like, how much of the delicious food that you make do you eat that you're filming it? Oh my God.
But I am like, again, that's why constantly having friends come by.
Right.
Constantly bringing stuff to people.
Right.
Even like yesterday, I made this like egg salad. And so like everyone after our workout this morning, we're like, all right, everyone's having egg salad.
I love that. I love how much time you spend with your friends. And I think, I mean, you're a very personable, like lovable person, but something that people ask a lot actually is like how to make friends as an adult. Like aside from being like really, really popular, how should people go about that? Do you have any tips?
It's crazy because I actually had kind of a friend overhaul in my late 20s.
Okay.
I had like a different core
Splinter
group.
era.
A Saturn return hits hard.
Yeah. Did you have to get rid of some people?
Yeah. And again, it was very natural. It was pretty much like I came to terms with it and I was like, you know what? These relationships are really me driving them.
Right.
I'm going to take a step back and see what happens.
Wait, something that I think that you speak so well on is exactly what you're saying. But talk about the thing where you told people like,
I'll tell you.
Yeah, because I really want people to hear that because I think it's so important.
So, what happened with this friend group was pretty much I stopped inviting them to things, and I didn't hear from them again.
Yeah.
Like,
and was that painful on some level?
I think the painful thing was like there was a moment where it's like they were all so much intertwined in my last relationship. So when the relationship ended and I found out that they knew about the breakup and never reached out, was like, that was hard.
That's really painful.
Because no matter what, this still for each and every one of them, I know when things come up in their life, both good and bad, I will reach out, I will show up just based on the history.
Right.
Yeah, that was just that was what it was. However, it made space for this core group of people that have become my best friends, many of whom you met at Shabbat the other week, where
nicest group of people.
They're just, it's just exactly what I was looking for. And it takes a lot of work. And then you meet people sometimes and it's just immediate.
Right. Yep.
And it's hard because then you have other people that are just like hounding you and all they want to do is hang out.
I know.
And you physically can't come around to seeing through the plans. And to me, it's the same thing as dating where
why do you think that is though? Because really dig into that because that's so interesting where it's like sometimes you meet someone and they'll be like, yeah, they really want to hang out. And you're just like, I just kind of know we're not going to get there.
It's energy.
It's one-sided.
It's
an
energy
intuition.
thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's this couple I'm friends with.
Yeah.
And I love them. And I have it's become to this point where we have such great fun together. It's been me inviting them the last few times and haven't seen them for a bit. And I was like, listen, one of them was like, oh my God, I would love to see you soon. We miss you. I said, I miss you guys too. Last few times have been me. It's up to you now to make the plan. And when you make the plan, I'll see you. And until then, there's no beef. There's no resentment. We're just on ice. And the second they make the effort, we're going to wild out. We're going to go crazy and we'll have the best time.
Yeah.
And it just, sometimes it has to happen that way. There've been moments where you think like people that you want to date or people you want to approach or you want to be friends with, and they might not be in the headspace at the current moment to give you what you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not actually a representation of you, it's a representation of them.
Right.
But it's hard not to internalize everything
Totally.
as a reflection on I'm not good enough.
Yeah, I know. But it's best to try and not take it personally. And I really, really love that tip. I've thought about it so many times. I can't tell you to just say, last couple times have been me. Next one's on you. Your guys' turn to invite, or your turn to invite. And this is something we talk about on the show all the time, you guys. And I think it's so simple, and it sounds scary to text something like that, but it's actually so freeing to just go, hey, I've reached out the last couple of times. You make the next plan. Boom, done. And if they don't, then so be it. They're not supposed to be in your life right now. And isn't it better to know than to just,
And it's not that deep.
It's not that deep.
It doesn't mean they don't like you.
Right.
It doesn't mean you're not good enough. Doesn't mean you're not pretty enough. It's how I see it all the time with there are so many objectively gorgeous men that I either date or hook up with, all this stuff. And it's just not there.
Not there.
Which is interesting because I do think the thing that I wanted, that my mission in coming on this was to talk to you about, I think that the hardest thing in my life right now is this concept of the spark versus the slow burn. And
wow, talk about it. Yes.
I think I really live my life by the spark and manifesting and attracting the spark. And my biggest fear is that I guess it's that hard thing. Is like, is it a slow burn or is it not right?
I do not have the answer, and I think
hard.
It's very hard. And I think it's hard if you are like, some people are just really energetic and magnetic, and you're one of those people. And I think it's hard if you live at 10. Like, it's really hard to slow burn. Like it just, I think it kind of is. Like, I don't know. I think your personality, like everything in your life is popping. You vibrate very high. So the concept of this slow burn, when everything else has come so like in a sparky way, is hard. Have you ever had a slow burn relationship situation?
No.
But then you also maybe haven't met your person, so maybe that's it.
Correct, which is, I think that's what's in my head.
Do you have people close to you in your life telling you, oh no, Jake, you should take a second look at that person?
Completely.
Wow, okay, that's interesting. So do you feel like you maybe move on too quickly, or just like...
I think there is one that I'm like, oh, no, like this guy is too good not to invest in and see how it plays out, and take everything slowly. Take everything slowly. Because my habit is to rush in.
Right.
Like really just rush and like, all right, great, let's do tomorrow. All right, let's talk every day.
Do you think that energy, connection, spark needs to be there on some level immediately?
Yes. I think so. Here's the only way I can describe it. And it was this revelation I had on a tab of acid at a rave. It's because I was like casually dating this guy, and he kind of like opened my eyes to like, I would say deeper rave culture versus I would go to like I would go to the occasional like very light circuit party,
right?
Which is very common in like the gay world. And he brought me to my first kind of like out of the ordinary rave,
right?
And it just unlocked something in me. Within like 2 weeks later, I was at Berghain. Like it was
wow. Yeah. Okay.
But we get there, and the first thing was that Tub Acid made it very clear. It's like, oh, he's not for me.
Okay.
And he had the same realization that night for me, so it was great. The other one was, I haven't always looked like this. I've like, my body's like very important to me. I'm like, take health very seriously, fitness very seriously. But it's only really been the last 2 years I've gotten into like this level of shape. And I was a heavy kid, and that was a hard life, and I fluctuated a lot in my 20s, and I've always had kind of a very skewed perception of my own body and worth. I think that's been always my core wound. Is not that, I think for a lot of people it's I'm not enough, and for me it's I've always known I'm enough. It's that I'm ugly, and which is it's just, and again, it's something that you have to just work through, and I'm in an incredible place of loving myself and my body. Right. But the realization is that for the longest time, all I've ever wanted was to be desired, was to be that person that people pine over. And I've always been someone that I think I was at this party, people kept coming up to me and being like, oh my God, your body's perfect. Oh my God, this like this XYZ. And again, it was never the right guys that were saying it to him, but like still. And I just realized like, oh, all I ever wanted was to be desired. Now I'm being desired and it just feels empty because that's not actually what I wanted. Before then, I had known how to be deeply loved, but I wanted to be desired, and then realizing that the two can't live separate. Being desired without being deeply loved is empty, and being deeply loved without being desired is equally empty.
Wow.
And so for a lot of people in these relationships, they fall somewhere on the spectrum closer of one to the other.
Right.
And I really now know that like my goal is to really like ride the middle.
Wow.
And as I date, as I have these flings, anything, it's really kind of going in and being like, what is it that I like? Is it that we have incredible sexual chemistry? Is it that we vibe so well in conversation and communication and values? Like, where is that? Because I think people think they have to choose, and
you want both.
I demand both.
You demand both. And that's interesting about desire and love. It's kind of like the same as, spark and slow burn. It's
exactly.
Like you want a marriage of the two and you want to fall somewhere in the middle. I think it's plausible. I'm manifesting it
completely
for us. Like, I think that's what we want. And I think that we'll get it. I think we'll get it.
It's interesting. I think what we also make it hard. You make it hard on yourself, like, because I'm only here as just a guest one day. But I know there are going to be men that are going to listen to this,
that want you,
that want me, that are some of these men that I'm talking about on this podcast.
Yeah, they're going to like it though.
I know they will, because again, the right guy can't say the wrong thing.
Totally. And also, it's flattering to be spoken about.
Of course,
like, I think it's hot.
But I think there's this degree of it requires them to hold up the mirror to what's going on,
as they should.
As they should.
Yeah, as they should. What a fabulous note to end on. Jake, you are beyond inspiring.
And we didn't talk at all about food.
We didn't talk at all about food. Guys, Jake is literally like the best cook ever. I was lucky enough to eat his food the other night, and it was, wow, it was so good. So where can people find you? Plug book, plug show, plug
Love.
Insta.
Love. You can follow me at Jake Cohen.
Great follow. Practical recipes, like actual ones that you're going to make, not like 900 step ones, like good food.
You can find my books wherever books are sold. My new cookbook, Dinner Party Animal, comes out September 30th. And I'll be back to tell you about our trip to Berghain and the book Closer To. And it's all dinner party menus with grocery list, timelines, and everything you need to know to entertain.
So genius.
And you can watch my show, Jake Makes It Easy, on A&E.
I love that. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank
Love
you.
Yay.